Okay, welcome to class, everybody. It is Monday morning. It is October 3rd. Here is our agenda for today. Okay, so the first thing we are going to do, we're going to review attaching files on Google Classroom. I've recently made a couple of videos for my level 3 computer class, and I realized that even here at level 5, some of the basics of attaching the files are very useful. So I'm going to use 2 of those recordings, very short, for folks who are having trouble attaching files from different computers onto Google Classroom. Then we'll review paragraph writing and have a brief discussion about that, which is important. Then we'll split the class into 2 breakout rooms. And then we're going to have our 10-minute break after that. Then we're going to review the Margaret Mead reading. That's the first reading for today's assignments that you did in the book. We're going to review that reading, and then I'm going to teach you a skill, inference, for vocabulary. The word inference, it's not commonly used. It's really one of those fancy words that only English teachers say, but I'll teach you what it means anyway, because it's a very important skill when you're reading, especially reading textbooks. All right, so that is our plan going forward. And some people have just joined the class right now. No questions? Oh, and some people are coming into class at this very moment. Excellent. Okay. All right. Welcome everybody who has just joined us. So I've just gone over the agenda and I asked any questions. And I saw no shaking heads yes, no shaking heads no. So that means we're going to keep it moving. And it's lovely to see everybody. We've got, I think, majority of the class on Monday morning. So that's a good sign. If you keep coming back, I have to be doing something right. So let's keep it, I'll try my best, we'll keep it moving. All right, so as I promised, here are 2 instructional videos that I've used for a lower level class. It's basics of Google Classroom, but a lot of students who join us in the upper levels are using Google Classroom for the very first time, so it's still new. I want to get a show of hands, and the question is my class, this class right here, your first time to use Google Classroom? So raise your hand first time. Svetlana, okay. Olha is familiar with it. Okay, Narcy, yes. So is it your first time? So Daniel, yes. Isabel, you've used it before, my class?
Sorry?
You've used Google Classroom before taking my class?
Oh,
that's my question.
I attached the picture last night.
No, my question is this the first time you've used it, this class? Is also, just so everybody gets the question, is this class your first time using Google Classroom? Is it your very first time? Some Svetlana and Narcy said, and Daniel said yes. Olha said no, she's done it before.
Yes, for me, yes.
Okay, so Isabel, yes. Ayano, yes, no? Okay, so Ayano has used it before.
Yes.
Okay, so Yana,
Yes, I used before. Like I had another
Okay.
English class.
So, okay, so I'm only asking everybody because when I first asked, I heard nothing, no response. I said, raise your hand, and everyone, okay. Sandra, Jean, Letitia, yes or no? First time.
No, I used it
Okay.
before.
All right. Jean,
No.
Letitia, no. Okay. Jean, is this your
No.
first time? Okay, great.
No, teacher.
Okay, so that looks like about a majority should be familiar with it. Lunique, is this class your first time using Google Classroom?
No, teacher.
Okay, so everybody here is an expert, is what you're telling me. Everybody here knows everything. Ayano gets the joke. I see her smiling.
Teacher, I'm not expert, but I use it before with my kids.
Okay, right. If you have kids in public schools, you've used it.
Yes.
Exactly. Those of you with kids have an advantage. So there's different ways to attach a file if you're using a Mac or PC versus using a Chromebook. Now, if you've gotten a device from us, that's a Chromebook. If you have your own device, it might be a Mac or PC. So the one on the left is Mac or PC. The one on the right is Chromebook. Okay. So here is the demonstration. Before I press play right here, I'm going to ask, can anyone describe how you attach a file? I know it's difficult to say it all in English. Who could describe how to attach a file on a Mac or PC? Anyone have the words? Okay, you might just be so familiar you don't even think about it, but here it is. Sure. So there it is. When you see that, the words I use to describe it: drag, drop, click, and I put it in there. I'm going to show you 3 words. First, I click, C-L-I-C-K, and when I move this to here, this is called a drag. Everybody say it with me. Drag,
Drag.
drag, and drop.
Drag.
Okay, so first I click, drag, and drop. I'm doing it with my finger. Look, click,
Click, drag, and
drag,
drop.
and drop.
Drag,
Click,
drag.
drag, and drop. Are you ready?
Yes.
Click,
Let's do
drag,
this together.
drop.
So I want to click. There's my page 7. Drag,
Click.
drop.
Mhm.
Let's see. Here we go. Here we go.
Wow.
So that now the file is attached. So the way I did it with a phone is you click and drag and drop. Now, do you do it the same way if you're using a Chromebook, or is it different?
It's different, I think, teacher.
You're absolutely right, Anila. Which device do you use, Anila?
Chromebook.
You have a Chromebook. Fantastic. Can you tell us why it's not the same attaching a file on a Chromebook?
I think in the other one they have something like Windows call. I don't know about teacher with the computers.
Yeah, sure.
Like,
No,
I'm
I'll
not,
explain. It's okay.
yeah, I'm not using a lot, but maybe there is some Windows something like we can use it.
You see
And
how
with the Chromebook, there is no window.
right? I'll give you a hint. You see how there's all these things right here, all these files on the screen with this Mac. Same thing with a PC. How you can put files right there on your screen.
Yeah.
That's called the desktop.
Desktop, yeah.
Chromebooks don't have a desktop.
Yes.
There's no desktop function. So that's one reason Chromebooks have a very long battery life, because there's not a lot of, you can't put anything on that screen to look at all the time. But it's, so if you're watching videos or playing a computer game on a Chromebook, it will crash quickly because it's not built for that. So everything you put in a Chromebook is into the hard drive, the bottom of the computer. But that's confusing when you switch and you're looking on the screen like this saying, hey, where's all my stuff? Where did it go? I can't find anything. So for first-time Chromebook users, that's usually the hardest thing. Here is the easy way that I made to remember how to attach a file on a Chromebook for those of you using the Chromebooks. Here we go. So I go in there. Okay, same thing. I got my Google Classroom page, and I use the extension for Google Chrome. There's Google Classroom. And if there's nothing here on the desktop to drag and drop, how in the world do I find the file? I think a lot of you know how, but you just don't have the words. Does anybody want to try to explain? Anila, you want to try?
Teacher, we can just, there is, when we click on the attach file, so we can see like 3 or 4 options, like upload or Google Drive, some of options. So we can use I am usually using the upload one. When I click on the upload, so that it shows me all my files, and I just click that one, and it's attached with the file.
Okay, Anila, everything you just said is 100% correct, but you said it in a very, very long, complicated sentence with a lot of really complicated words. Ayano, can you tell me what Anila just said? I'm kind of joking right now. Daniel, can you tell me what Anila just said?
Sorry, teacher.
Exactly. So Anila, I know what you just said, but even I am going like this. You use so much complicated English in such a long, complicated sentence. We want to make it easy for anybody to understand. So let's think of really simple English to explain the process that many of us already know. We just don't know that we know, or we don't even know how to say it. We might even do it and not think about it. So here is the simple way that I've found to remember how to attach a file from a Chromebook. Here we go. Come on. So, whoops. Simple way to attach a file from a Chromebook. There it is. Okay. Use the drive yet. So here we go. Look at this. I'm on a Chromebook. Can I drag and drop something like I would on a PC? Yes or no? A Chromebook has no desktop function.
Chromebook have file download.
Yes. Perfect, Irina. So where do I go? Tell me where to go. How do I get that picture? So I'm gonna say it again. A Chromebook has no desktop. You cannot drag and drop anything.
Open file download.
Where? Left or right? Use the English. Come on.
My drive. Maybe my drive, maybe recent. I don't know. I have Russian.
Move it over here. There it is. There it is. And now I can drag. And there it is. So for the Chromebook, you can go to your downloads. That little bit right there, downloads. If you've got lots of files on your Chromebook and you like say you save something and then you wonder, where did it go? Anybody ever notice that? You save something on a Chromebook and say, hey, where it disappeared. I don't see it in front of me. What happened? It all went to downloads, your downloads. Browse, maybe. Do what I just showed you. That's a little, what you're telling me to do is actually the hard way. I'm going to show you. And there it is. Downloads. And what did I call it?
Page 7.
There it is. And now I can drag and drop, but I can't do it from the desktop, right? That's the easy way to do it.
I am click to.
Now, let's say you want to do browse. Linzani, you can do it this way. I think it's harder. Linzani, tell me how to do this. So yeah, that way works. Thank you, Arina and Linzani. So yeah, and that works too. And then you don't have to drag and drop. You could just click it. Click it. Actually, with this kind, you have to do double click. What does it mean to double click?
Two
times.
Right, click twice. Click, 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 click,
Yeah.
double click. So browse or attach, double click. That's with the Chromebook. You have to pull it out of that file that is from your downloads, your hard drive.
Teacher, we are, I'm every time I'm using my phone. I think it's easy way, so that's why, you know.
You can, however, do you use your phone to type on a Google document? For it? Really?
Yes, yeah.
You type on a Google document with your phone the way I'm doing this with my thumbs?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
I think it's easy for me. So I'm not using all the time the laptop and
Okay.
yeah.
So
First, you have to download the doc. What is called doc. The application.
all right. So yeah, you do have to have the app. Now, quick question. How many people, raise your hand if you understand attaching files on Google Classroom? I want to see if anybody has any questions. If you understand attaching files, raise your hand.
Yes, I understand.
Okay, most people are saying they understand. Okay. All right. Okay, so everybody's telling me they understand. Now here's the test. Here's the test, okay? If everybody understands, when I go into assignments, I'm going to see everything finished and all files attached. Let's find out.
No, teacher, I have a problem.
Oh, wait. No, you said you understand. Oh, wait, you don't understand. Okay, tell me. Tell me, Daniel.
Yeah, I have a problem. I can see in my the computer that I use, I don't see where I'm supposed to download the document.
Beautiful.
I supposed to do that. So
and you're on a Chromebook, right?
I use a MacBook. I know.
Okay.
MacBook.
All right. I think we might do a little in the breakout rooms. I might go into investigate. We might do a little screen sharing with yours. So Daniel, that was a great question. Fantastic. Is anybody else having issues? Some problems attaching files? Okay, so here's the test. Everybody said they understand. Now here's the test. If you understand everything, the last two assignments should all be finished. So here we go. All right. So here's the test. Okay. The student understands halfway. Fatima, you said you understand. I see nothing here.
I did my paragraph. The other things I was sick. I didn't read the story.
Oh, really? Oh. Well, no, actually, I looked, Fatima. I didn't see anything there, so let's investigate.
Yeah, I did all my homework. Just
No,
the
no.
other one.
So when you say, what do you mean? There's
The
nothing there.
about the story. I did the writing.
No, where?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe
Exactly, because I know you, Fatima. I know you, Fatima. So this is what I mean. So Fatima, you sounded so confident. Yeah, I did it. I did it. There, it looks like, okay. So this is why I wanted to go over this stuff. When I saw Fatima and I saw nothing, I was like, I know she didn't just do that on purpose. There's some kind of step that's missing. All right. So, and this is what you want to check on your own. So we have, okay, Sandra, understand 100%. Sandra, you can teach the rest of the class today. Jean, is Jean here right now? Oh yeah, Jean is working on Monday. So Jean, he can teach the class. Magdala, 100%. Narcy, I know you've been very, very busy. But we're happy to see you back. Isabel, you understand 50%. See? This one, I saw you did a great job. This one's nothing. So that's 50%. Shamara, 50%. We're missing one. Letitia, beautiful. Gracie, beautiful. Svetlana, you can teach the class. Yana, we're missing a lot. So we're going to have, so we got a lot of work to do. Next thing, now that we understand attaching files, let's go over the instructions from last week. Here we go. So the instructions here, we had a great class discussing the story of Caitlin living in Paris. Now, I was asking to describe in 35 to 60 words. One word that I neglected to add is a paragraph. So I thought to myself, let's take a moment to discuss paragraph writing. When you get to level 6, that becomes very crucial. When you switch from one language to another, writing the structure of a paragraph can be a little bit different. Not a lot, but a little bit. So I've got a little slide to help everybody remember how to keep writing in paragraphs. Here we go. Teacher, to just click. All right. So a paragraph. Which one of these is a paragraph? And you could put in the chat A, B, C, D, or E.
I think I can say.
Well, I want to say, put in the chat, the
Okay.
Zoom chat real quick.
Okay.
Yeah, and then let's talk. I have an overwhelming, okay. Isabel, go ahead. Isabel, you wanted to tell us what your answer is?
Oh, yes. The answer is D, is a group of sentences connected by the same point.
There you go. You're absolutely right. So one thing to always, and I'll go back to this again. And when you get to level 6, I always like to remind students, a group of sentences connected by the same point or main idea. It's not a list. A lot of students like to write lists, like 1, 2, 3, 4. It's just a group of sentences connected by the same point. So if you're making one point, you have one idea, and you're talking about whether or not Caitlin should live like the French and take the long lunch breaks, or whether Caitlin should be like an American and work during lunch, you want to keep your ideas into one paragraph. So that's something to definitely keep in mind. Let's see. Now let's let's split into some breakout rooms. And what we're going to do is this. I'm going to create 2 breakout rooms, but I'm going to assign them manually. And you tell me, which assignments do you feel like you needed the most help with? If you felt like you needed more help attaching the file with this page, taking the picture and attaching the file, raise your hand, and I'll put you in breakout room 1.
Teacher, can you repeat the question, what you said?
If you needed, if you had more trouble attaching the file for this assignment than writing the paragraph, raise your hand. If this was the one that you had trouble with, raise your hand.
That is page 5.
Hang on one second. I mean, I'm just holding up the book.
I did it, teacher.
Mhm. You might be leading everyone in the breakout room. That's why I'm asking the question. That wasn't the question, Dave. So Gene, okay, Gene's got his hand up. Gene, you're okay. You were fine with both. So if you had more trouble with the first one, I'll put you in breakout room 1. If you had more trouble with the writing on a Google Doc, I'll put you in breakout room number 2. Here we go. So Fatima, which one were you having more trouble with? The attaching the file, attaching the picture, or the paragraph? Which one was the tricky part?
I was good in the paragraph because I did my last paragraph. I did it. I sent you the picture on WhatsApp.
Yeah, but that doesn't count.
Yeah, but
You're sending it to me on WhatsApp? What are you talking about?
But the picture, I don't know.
Okay. So, all right. So I'll put, let's see, breakout room 1. Here we go.
Teacher.
Hello, Anila.
Yeah, I want to learn the paragraph. Like,
Okay.
I know, but I want to a little bit more detail.
Gotcha. Gotcha. All right. So Anila, I'll put you in breakout room number 2. All right. So here we go. Let's see. And for students who've done both assignments, you might be taking the lead in these discussions, and you might be comparing each other's work, that sort of thing. So Olha, Daniel, you might be in the lead. Jean, you might be in the lead with these discussions. Here we go. Anyo, you completed both. So Anyo, you could also be a leader in these breakout rooms. Does that sound frightening? Olha, Ayano, or when I say you'll be a leader, so it's like, no, don't make me. Okay, here we go. All right. So breakout room 1, we'll focus on the breakout room 1. We'll focus on page 5. Page 5 in the textbook. Breakout room 2, we'll go over the paragraph. Here we go. All right. And this might take a little bit because I'm just double checking who needed to finish which assignment. Svetlana, you completed both 100%. So you can also be a leader in these breakout rooms. Here we go. Okay, all right. Mhm. Mm. And let's also add do I have Allison? Okay, so breakout room 1 that will focus on page 5. This will be page 5 for breakout room 1. That's going to be Ayano, Fatima, Jean, Lunique, Narcissa, and Shamara. So talk to each other, and if any, and for folks who have successfully completed it, attaching the picture to Google Classroom, you will take the lead. Okay. And, you know, Svetlana, I'm going to put you in there as well. So you are one of the leaders. Here we go. So for instance, Narcissa, you can say, Svetlana, I was having some trouble. Would you help me? And Svetlana will say, yes, absolutely. Okay. That's breakout room 1. Go for it. And breakout room 2, which could go over the writing on the Google Doc. That would be Daniel, Anila, Letitia, Olha, Sandra, and Isabel. Okay, you can join your breakout rooms. Hi, Narcy. Mhm. So Lunique, I'm going to send you into a breakout, back into the same breakout room, okay? Oh, there's two of you. I see. I'm going to get rid of the iPhone.
Yeah, I'm not in the back house. Teacher, I'm not in the back house. Uh-oh.
Hi, Lunique. It looks like you've joined from two devices, your phone and your computer.
No, I shut.
Oh, okay.
my-
All
my
right.
phone.
I'll send you back to the same breakout room. But I have a quick question. Which one do you need help with? This assignment or the writing the paragraph?
I have this
This
assignment.
one, page 5? Okay.
Five.
I'll send you to breakout room 1 because that's what they're doing. Okay. Whoop. I'll get rid of that. Okay. Unique, room 1. And some have half have already finished it, so they're like leading the class. They can help you.
Yes.
Mhm.
I did it.
You did it. Oh,
yeah,
great.
Yeah.
But you got to attach it on Google Classroom. So
I need.
I'll let them
need
know.
To make a picture.
Yes. Well, yeah. I'll go in with you and I'll tell you.
Okay.
All right. So as promised, I said in the agenda today that I would show you a new skill which will help you. So this new skill is inference for vocabulary. Now, in the chapter, you read the short story about Margaret Mead, and you learned some new vocabulary. Now, the assignment on page 5 asked you to look at a word, guess the meaning, and then use the dictionary. What if you're reading something and on a page you see 10 words you don't know? Are you going to look up each and every word in the dictionary?
No, just guess.
Exactly. So, essentially what Anila said is correct. But it's a little more complicated. Guess. You're going to, an inference is like a guess, but it's more than a guess. Let's say I'm going to show you what it means to infer. So I'll leave my this background I have right here, this imaginary museum. You're going to see me get rid of it. Here we go. All right, I'm getting rid of my virtual background, and I'm going to take you all to page 5 in the textbook. Here we go. So why am I getting rid of my background? Oh my goodness, it's a wall. There's been a wall behind George the whole time. Sorry to destroy the fantasy, but I have to sometimes. Here we go. Now I'm going to take you to my document camera to show you inference on page 5. So here is page 5. All right. So if I look at page 5, and I'll put a little light on there to make it easier. There we go. So that's page 5. We have all of these vocabulary words. And you can follow me with the pronunciation if you like. We have this word dismantle. Dismantle. Dwelling. Yes. Dwelling.
Dwelling.
Estate.
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 Poignant.
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 Poignant. So all of these are new vocabulary words. Now, if we're reading a passage and we see many, many brand new words, we can't stop and look at the dictionary for every single word because we'll never finish the reading. So we have to infer. Now it says guess, but we're not guessing blindly. We have all this great information in the rest of the sentence. So here we are. Can I have a volunteer reader, please, just to read this sentence? I'll make it a little bit closer so everybody can see. There we are. Would anybody like to read sentence number 2?
I can read.
Sure. I think that was, was that, I think that was.
Okay, teacher.
Olha.
I
Yeah,
try.
it was me.
Okay, I heard your voice first. So Olha first, and then we'll go with another volunteer. So Olha, you can follow on your own book, or if you like, you can follow my pen on the screen. Here we go. They bend
A slender young tree into an arch to make a doorway, an entrance to a dwelling as protected from invasion as the walled estates of the wealthy are.
Beautiful. So dwelling. When I see the word dwelling, if that's a brand new word, I can guess, but really I'm doing more than guessing. I have clues. You know what a clue is? Clues are what detectives use to solve crimes. So when you're reading anything in English, think of yourself as a detective. There's a new word and you've got to figure out what the word means. And you do this when you learn languages. People talk to you and say things that you don't understand, but there are ways to figure out what the word means. For instance, here we go. Let's say I don't know, okay, here's my cup of coffee. What if I say, I'm going to put my cup on the table? And if I don't know the word table, is there a way to figure out what a table is?
We have to think about the other words, the coffee and.
Yes, exactly. To say, keep going, Anila. If I don't know the word table, but I see someone put a cup on a table, I could figure out what a table is. And by the way, that's my 2-year-old daughter who drew that. All right. Anyway, so but tell us, Anila, how if I don't know the word table, I can figure out what it is because.
So we just think about the like putting something on somewhere and relate it to the coffee, or when we just our drink putting somewhere. So we use that like clues, that guessing.
Exactly. So basically, what I just did was a level 1 lesson. If you're learning very, very basic words in English, you can figure out by movement, by the situation of the word, what's called the context. Now, up here in the upper levels, we do exactly the same thing. We have this complex sentence, and we're going to see words we don't know. And we have to infer by treating these words as clues. They bend a slender young tree into an arch to make a doorway at the entrance of a dwelling. If I've never seen the word dwelling, I probably can figure out what they're doing with the rest of this sentence. Olha.
Yes.
Can tell us when you look at this sentence, how you can figure out pretty much what they're talking about.
I see the word doorway and an entrance to somewhere.
Right. So we know they must be doing what?
Be doing house.
Yeah. She said doing house. They must be building a house, or they must be building some kind of place to live. So that's where dwelling. If I don't know the word dwelling, the first word, you can a synonym will pop into your brain. And Olha said house. Did anyone else have the word house just pop into just come to their mind when they were reading this? Oh yeah, they must be saying house. Because this is what you would do to build a house. Make a door. Make an entrance. That's called inference. So I'm going to cross off guess, and I'm going to say infer, using the fancy English teacher word. Inference. You infer by using the words you know. You use the words you know to find the word you don't know. Yes. Now let's look at the word estate. Daniel, would you like to do the same thing as Olha just did? Tell us how I might figure out the meaning of the word estate by reading this.
Okay. So, as protected from invasion of the world estate of the wealthy. Wealthy is a kind of
what am I doing with my fingers? The international sign for what?
Money.
Money.
Yes.
Money.
Right. Right. Keep going.
Yes.
As protected from invasion as the walled estates of the wealthy. Okay. Wealthy people, they don't live in these little houses. They live in walled estates. Well, if I don't know the word estate, what do I probably think it means? Protected from invasion as the wealthy are, using all the words around it.
So they talk about the rich and the and the poor.
Exactly. Beautiful. So this is a complex sentence because it's contrasting the poor and the rich in one sentence. The poor in this village have to build their houses by bending trees to make doorways. And it protects them the same way the wealthy would be protected by giant walls of you picture a great big castle or something in your mind. I don't know. So if I don't know the word estate, I could think, what is an estate? New word, walled estates of the wealthy.
I think teacher stay is when do you have many friends?
Perhaps. Who's seen this word before?
You have, for example, a farm, a car, a house.
Anyone ever seen this word? Real estate? Yeah, what's real estate?
Buildings, apartment.
Isabel says
like property,
land and,
teacher.
well, here, you're all correct. Jean, Isabel, and Olha, you are all correct. Isabel, you were talking about farms and land, right?
Yeah.
And Olha is talking about buildings and apartments. That could all be real estate. And I think, Jean, did you use the word property?
Yes.
Yes, and Jean uses another synonym, property, owning something. That's what the word real estate implies, owning of property.
Okay.
The ownership of property is the business of real estate. Buying and selling and renting property is the business of real estate. So we use this word a lot in American English, but if I'm looking at, if I maybe I've seen that before, and I read the sentence, as protected from invasion as the walled estates of the wealthy. Well, let's go back to Daniel. Daniel, what would you infer is the meaning of estate?
Yeah, teacher, do you say?
Well, when you're reading this for the first time, what would you guess or infer is the meaning of estate?
So, yes, I read it. I say as protected from invasion, as a wallet. I see wealth
estate of the wealthy.
Yeah.
So my question is, in your mind, when you see the word estate, what do you imagine an estate is?
Oh, what I'm imagining. Okay. I see for the first time I see a different, but I will the text to see what the differences mean, and after I will have a flashback. It's not really good. And after I will see that word, I will see exactly the good definition. But I see something different between poor or rich.
Right.
But
so,
I don't know.
Yeah, well, what you're saying makes sense. You're saying, let me simplify your idea. I know what you're trying to express. I can help you in a simple way. An estate must be the opposite of the poor.
Yes.
So the poor, if they have nothing but the dirt and a tree to cut down and make a house, an estate must be something bigger.
Okay.
And grand, the opposite. So what you're doing is inferring. So you know that this, yes.
I'm sorry. This sentence is similar when do you have insurance for your property?
No, that wouldn't be implied in this sentence. That would be a little bit, that would be quite different, a different concept. That's another vocabulary word.
Okay.
Let's see, but basically what Daniel's talking about is, he's saying an estate must be the opposite of these people in the village building their house. So essentially, my point is, when you infer and you see new words, you want to get in the habit of using those. Don't always reach for the dictionary when you see one new word. Try to infer first, and then look at the whole. I'm using my hands here. Look at the whole passage that you're reading, and then see if you have a basic understanding. And then later, check with a dictionary. Don't, when you read a new word, don't stop reading and look at a dictionary. And then you see another new word, stop and look at a dictionary. And you see another new word and you stop and look at a dictionary. You'll never finish the reading. So that's, it's hard.
Yeah.
So the idea is practice inference. Now,
yeah, just highlight those words, teacher, and we can just check it later.
Yeah, highlighting is great. What I like to do, I'm not the biggest fan of highlighting. I used to be a big highlighter. Now what I like to do is it's everybody's different. Highlighting is great. What I like to do is kind of underline and then write in the margin, check later. The margin that's this little space in the end of the book. That helps. We can look at this next page right here and do this together. I didn't assign this for homework because I want to try it right now to see how well everyone can infer. Because these are all synonyms. Who knows what a synonym is?
The words that has a similar meaning.
Exactly. A synonym means a similar or exact meaning that we can interchange. Like, I'll go back to this. I can say my coffee cup or my coffee mug. Mug and cup mean the same thing. And English has a lot more words than other languages. So there's always going to be new words. Every time you read anything, new words, new words, new words. So the more you can infer, the better you will be at English, because you'll hear new words every day that you don't know, but you just have to go with it and keep moving. So right here it says on page 6, complete the essay with the words from the box. Use the synonym in parentheses to help you select the correct word. Compare answers with a partner. We'll do this together. So the first one is research. Research, and I'm going to put the camera a little bit closer here. All right, so this one is research, and a synonym is field work. Mead's field work was done in Samoa, New Guinea. Mead's research was done in Samoa, New Guinea. Synonyms, like either one is fine. This paragraph, I would like to ask for a volunteer reader. Anybody who hasn't had a chance to read today. Anila, you want to go? Sure, okay. So the second paragraph on page 6.
Margaret Mead was born into a family of educators in 1901. Her original major was technology, but
theology. Theology.
Theology. Okay. Yep. But her friend Ruth Benedict convinced her to change her major to anthropology. They both later became famous anthropologists.
There we go. Theology is religion. Theos is the Greek word for God. So this comes from a Greek origin. Theology is a study of religion. So people who go to theological schools study to work in religion. anthropology, that also has the Greek origin. It's a study of cultures. So anthropologists study different cultures around the world. Who would like to read this next one? And that's where the synonyms come in.
Me, Sandra.
Sandra, take it away.
Fieldwork was
Fieldwork.
done.
Mhm.
Fieldwork was done in Samoa and New Guinea, where she often lived for years at the time doing research on culture. More?
Yeah, keep going. Although,
Okay, although she made frequent forays.
this is where we can figure it out. Frequent.
Trip.
We need a synonym of trips, and here's the word bank up at top. And let's ask classmates. Classmates, what do you think is the best synonym to put here? Trips.
Forays.
Forays.
Forays is correct.
Okay.
Good job.
To the South Pacific, her intellectual base was the Museum of Natural History in New York. I read more?
Sure. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, unless you want to stop, you can pass it to anybody. You can surprise your classmate and just call a name and they'll read.
Okay. In her autobiography, Blackberry Winter, she writes about her tower office in a modified.
Okay, now everybody together, let's help Sandra find the synonym for modified. So blank modified attic of the museum. What do we think the word modified means? She writes about her office tower in a modified attic of the museum. So
I think
Convert, teacher.
convert.
oh, I love it. Everybody's ideas happening at the same time. Let's start with
Convert.
Jean.
Convert.
Convert. Okay, there's converted. What does everybody else think? Isabel, was that the one you wanted to
Convert.
Converted? I think Anila, you had that same one, right?
No, I'm thinking brief.
Field work.
Not field work, because we know field work is already up here.
Oh, okay.
So field work is a noun. So let's see. So modified attic. Modified is an adjective. It's describing the attic. So it's something to describe an attic.
I think brief, teacher. Or...
Converted, intact, dismantle, brief, poignant.
Dismantle is separate. Dismantle is separate.
Well, and also, how would she write in a dismantled attic? Well, that would be difficult. Dismantle is to take apart.
Take apart, yeah.
Right. So, Jean, you are correct. Jean and Isabel, both correct. So it is converted attic of the museum. Converted. It means they changed the attic of the museum to her office. Converted attic of the museum. Unwilling to, how about we stop right here and have another volunteer read this last part. Isabel, that's the train, that's the commuter rail behind you, right?
Yes, I can read.
You live near my colleague Antonio. The same train goes past his house in Taunton.
Sorry?
Antonio told me that the same train goes past his house at like 1 o'clock in the morning and he never sleeps,
yes,
right?
Yes, the train right now is going here.
Does it go past you like very late at night?
Yes.
Antonio told me about the same thing. The train waking him up very late at night. And I knew you lived very close to him.
It's under the house.
Yeah.
Behind.
All right. So that's why you always look a little tired. The train is waking you up at night, right?
12 a.m. the train go.
Mm-hmm.
But the last time I don't think the train now. Yeah, I have how I can say costumbre.
Okay.
For
Let's
me,
do
it's
a little
normal.
translation.
I don't think the train is normal.
Okay,
Yeah.
no
Yes.
problem. All right. Okay. So if anybody wants to visit Isabel in Taunton, you can stay up late and wait for the train and practice your English together. Okay. Anyway, who wants to read this part right here? Let's get another volunteer.
I can read.
Absolutely, Olha. So she kept this office for decades, unwilling to what?
To dismantle
Good, dismantle.
her files and displays to transport them elsewhere.
Mhm.
She never cared much about money or estates.
Good.
She lived in several modest dwellings in New York City, where she taught at many universities.
Good. Now you had all the answers. Now I want to ask you, Olha, did you get all the answers by looking them up in the dictionary, or did you naturally just start to infer, guess?
Guessing. No dictionary. I have no dictionary.
That's it. You want to be able to practice, just guess, because
Yeah.
when you don't want to reach for the dictionary all the time. Just you want to only use the dictionary if you're really not sure. So you want to read first, guess, infer what you don't know, then later go back to the dictionary. So good practice. And I think you would do this naturally without me explaining it, right?
Yeah.
Because you have to in life. People speak English to you, blah, 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 blah. What in the world are they saying? And you have to figure it out. That's life. All right. Yeah, we can keep going on to the next page. Although, you want to keep reading or pass it to somebody else?
Although some of her research findings have been challenged through the years, her major insights.
Hang on, Anila. Yeah, keep going.
Her major insights remain unchanged.
Okay, so let's together. What's a good synonym of unchanged? And then we'll get to your question, Anila.
Intact, maybe.
So if something doesn't change, what's a synonym of not changing?
The number 5, teacher, mentions.
Number 7.
Intact.
Intact, yes, intact. Remain intact is to remain unchanged. Good. Intact. Good. Let's see. Let's give somebody else a chance. Who would like to read? Fatima, Ayano, Narcissa, Letitia, anybody?
I don't have the book, that's why.
Oh, that's why, but I've got it on the screen. Can you follow the screen?
Yeah, I can see. It's
Beautiful. Yeah, start right here. Gender.
I can see. I can see the picture.
What about this? What about this? Can you see now?
It's so hard because it's.
Okay, Yana, go ahead. Yana, I see her hand up.
It's not so noisy, but because of music, it's okay.
Okay, sure. Oh, by the way, Yana's talking about where she is. She's Yana, where did you go?
Just Starbucks. Yeah.
All right, she had to go to Starbucks for the Wi-Fi. So, all right, maybe you'll make some friends at the Starbucks too.
It's
okay.
8, right?
Yes, on the top of page 7. Page 7. Gender roles.
The mark of the success came when other scientists voted her president. No?
Oh, no. Page 7.
Yes.
Right here. The years for major.
The years her major insisted mind intact.
Yep. Beautiful.
Gender roles are influenced by culture and are not the
unchangeable
result of biological destiny.
The mark.
The mark.
Well, everybody, let's talk about it. Everyone is saying This has
Mark.
got to be Mark. Is
Mark.
that, Jana, what do you think?
I don't know, I put intact and then mark.
Okay,
Symbol.
Mark is correct. Mark is correct.
That's because they said for.
Good, sure. Keep going, Jana. The mark of her.
So 7 is intact, it's correct, right?
Correct, yes. 7 is
and mark
intact.
correct.
8 is marked.
The,
Yep.
the mark of her success came when other scientists voted her president of the American Association for the Advancement of Science in 1973.
Mm-hmm. Good job. Yeah, you can finish. Go for it.
Told as a young woman, then she could never have children. Miet carried this grief for a many
Good.
years.
Yes, grief.
Good job.
But she and her third husband,
Gregory
Bateson, had a daughter, Mary
Catherine
Bateson, also an educator, has written a poignant memoirs of life when her parents.
Good job. Nostalgic, and the synonym in this case is poignant. This is poignant, and poignant can also mean like significant, but oftentimes
you read it without G? Poignant?
Yes, the G is silent. Good question. Poignant. Poignant. The G is silent in poignant. 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 Excellent job. Excellent. So take a look, everybody. Together, you have completed this entire passage, the essay, without a dictionary. And that is an example of inference. Beautiful work, everybody. So I'm switching back to my camera, and this boring wall, I'm going to get rid of that. Let's have something exciting. How about this? Good. No, let's go back to Forest Hills train station. There we go. So beautiful. So how does everybody feel about their reading? I hope a little more confident. A little more confident when you are reading longer passages and you see new words that you've never seen before. So we'll do a lot more of that as the semester continues, and I'll put my document camera away. All right, so we have 9 more minutes of class. I'm going to introduce you to our next assignment. So I'm going to introduce you to a concept. The rest of this chapter is about homelessness, the topic of homelessness. And one way I like to begin the chapter is by introducing you to a social scientist, or psychologist rather, named Abraham Maslow. Sure. So going to the correct slide, there we go. All right, Abraham Maslow studied at Brandeis University, which is in Waltham, very close to Boston. And what he's most famous for is what's called the hierarchy of needs. He argued that all human beings have a hierarchy of needs. And I want to introduce you to these 5 words. The first is physiological, and you could say the word with me, physiological.
Physiological.
Very good. So just from the picture, what would you guess is a physiological need?
Like routine. Something you do with like routine, you make yourself like happy or something like that.
It's
Well,
what we need to live. It's
exactly.
Food, sleep.
Yes, the basics to survive. the very basics to survive. So oftentimes when I like to talk to students about things going on in their lives, maybe you are having trouble paying your rent. Maybe you don't know where you're going to live next week. That's a physiological need. Maybe you don't have food in your home. That's a physiological need. The winter is coming. Can you heat your home? This is a physiological need. What do you need to survive? And the next in hierarchy is safety. What is safety?
Like security, like for ourselves.
Exactly.
We are safe. In some places are.
Safety, right. So not everybody has safety. So some people do, some people don't. And it's important to understanding and advocate for yourself. Do you have issues with safety? After that, there is love and belonging. What would love and belonging mean?
Some family members, like someone we love very much. Our family members, our like parents and kids, our friends.
Have someone counter.
Yeah, this is an important need. And every one of you has changed countries. Changing countries can be very lonely. The immigrant experience can be a lonely one. So the love and belonging is a need that needs to be addressed. If you have 1, 2, 3, you have a place to live, you have food to eat, you have someone who loves you, what might be another need on that pyramid?
Esteem.
What is esteem?
Love.
Little different.
Like we are happy. Happiness.
A little bit different. Think about the quiet quitting article we read.
Results on your work, maybe.
Yeah. Self-esteem, confidence, achievement, respect of others, respect by others. Do you show up to your job and you feel invisible, like you don't matter? That would be an issue with esteem. Do you show up to your job and people say, "Oh, I'm so happy you're here. We need you. You matter." That kind of thing. That's esteem. And then the very top, if you have 1, 2, 3, and 4 in your life, the last that we try to achieve is self-actualization. So these are kind of like the end goals, the hopes and dreams. What is all of this?
Like if we are creative, our specialty, we have some knowledge for something.
I think was it Lunique who said happiness?
Values.
Acceptance, problem solving, creativity, spontaneity. This was where like your hobbies and your passion come in. Whatever in life makes you happy, the good stuff. That's the self-actualization.
Yeah.
So essentially, Maslow's hierarchy of human needs works very well with this particular chapter that deals with homelessness, because when we look at homelessness, that's the very basic issue, the physiological need. And for homework, I am going to introduce a former mayor of Albuquerque, New Mexico. His name is Richard Berry. And Richard Berry came up with a very unique solution to the many, many homeless people in his city. And I'm going to play the first Well, actually, we're gonna finish class. I'm not gonna play the first part now, but I'll show you where on Google Classroom. We'll discuss it next week. Not next week. We'll discuss it on Wednesday.
Wednesday. Mhm.
We'll discuss this on Wednesday, and you can watch this, and I'll show you on Google Classroom where you can find the assignment. So here it is. And we reviewed how to submit assignments on Google Classroom today, so everybody should be okay with that. So here is level 5. There it is. I just put a new assignment here during the break. I called it would Mayor Barry's plan work in Boston? I should put a question mark there. Would Mayor Barry's plan work in Boston? There we are. So when you go into Google Classroom, you click here and you read the instructions. Watch this lecture and write your answer in a short paragraph, 35 to 60 words. My goodness, I forgot something very important. Who can tell me what I forgot? I said watch the lecture, but I didn't attach the lecture. But this is good for me too. Here we go. I attached the instructions, but no, nothing for you to watch. There it is. Okay, there it is. So the video is 12 minutes. What you do is, there it is. So the video is 12 minutes. You watch it. And one thing I like to remind everybody is you can watch it with closed captions. Click this and you'll get the words. There it is. So I'll play the first minute or so.
So raise your hand if you've seen somebody in your city standing on a corner holding a sign like this. I think we all have. If you're being honest, at least one time, have you wondered if they mean it? If we offered them a job, would they really take it? And what would that job mean to them in their lives? Well, this is a story about what happened in my city when we decided to find out. When we decided to think differently about panhandling and lift people up through the dignity of work. We call it There's a Better Way. We call it There's a Better Way because I believe there's a better way to get the money you need than panhandling on a corner. I believe there's a better way to help your brothers and sisters in need than handing a few dollars out the car window. We know there's dignity in work. We also know that people are much more likely to invest in themselves if they believe that their community is willing to invest in them first. And because we're all wired to be kind and compassionate, it always feels good to hand a couple of dollars to someone that is in need. But if you talk to panhandlers, many of them will tell you that your few dollars don't necessarily go towards feeding the body, they go towards feeding an addiction. There's a better way. My name is Richard Berry, and I have one of the best jobs in the world. I get to be the mayor of a great American city, Albuquerque, New Mexico. And I was at lunch on July 17th, 2015 in my great American city. Then on my way back to City Hall, I saw this gentleman standing on a corner. And as you can see, he's holding a sign. And his sign says he wants a job. But if you look closer at the picture, you'll see he's standing underneath a blue sign. And that sign says, if you need help, if you need food or shelter, or you would like to donate, please call 311, our community service number. So why is this guy standing underneath my sign with his sign?
So I like to pause right there, and this is where we'll begin our discussion next class. So this is a guy with a sign, I need help, I need a job. And this is the mayor's sign. If you need help, call this number. So the mayor is saying, wait a minute, that guy's standing under this sign, telling him exactly what to do if he needs help, but he's made his own sign standing on the highway saying, I need help. What happened? So Mayor Berry decided to try to do something different, and he came up with a very unusual plan. And when you watch it on your own, I want to discuss next class, would that plan work in Boston to help the homeless? That's it. We'll stop right here. End of class today. Very good work, everybody. And I'll see you on Wednesday. Take
Thank
care.
you, teacher.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Have a good day, everyone.
Have a great day, everyone.